Everybody. So this week's book is Atomic Habits. When I tell you that when I started reading the physical book, I realized that I needed to get the audio book simply because I needed to hear it, I needed to read it, but I also needed to take lots of notes. And one of the things that I do, and you can kind of see some of my content highlighted, one of the things that I do is ensure that I walk away with something. And I personally have learned more from reading books than I did in my entire academic journey. When I was younger, my father used to take us to Chicago Public Library to read books. So, as a person who was told that they had trouble with reading comprehension, I enjoyed this journey where I can comprehend what I'm reading. I can apply what I'm reading. I'm learning faster than I'm growing so that when I get to a place where I need to use the tools that I learned in the book, I can just pull them right off my tool belt. So here are my 5 growth moments from this particular book. Number one is the power of those little bitty tiny changes. In the book, Mr. Clear talks about the fact that small incremental changes can lead to significant outcomes. Let me just give an example. He says if you grow 1% per day, every day of the year, that's 365% growth. And only you know what areas you need to grow in. I'm going to give you a QR code to scan my list of books. You may find something on there that appeals to your emotions, where you are today, what you want to work on. So, why does this approach work? Big goals sometimes intimidate people. And so, when you focus on these tiny, manageable changes, you can see that progress more immediately as opposed to long term, and you won't feel overwhelmed. Number two, identity based habits. So, this is about shifting your focus from what you want to achieve to who you wish to become. So, instead of what you want to achieve, who you wish to become. So, for example, let's say you say, I want to be a reader. And so, just reading for 1% of your day times 365 days, you're going to probably get through, different books and move on to other books. Well, what happens is by prioritizing who you are becoming, every action becomes, a step in the direction of where you want to go. This builds, internal motivation, and it aligns your habits with your self perception. Sometimes we look at ourselves in the mirror and we're just like, I don't like you, right? Stop doing that. Tell yourself, I like you. I'm proud of you, even if nobody else tells you that. All right, number three, the 2-minute rule. If you are, and my aunt Phyllis and I talk about this all the time, she's like, I don't know, um, our family has this behavior that I don't tend to have, and it's about procrastination. And you can overcome procrastination by just making new habits as simple and easy as possible. Are you noticing the thing? Small changes, small habits. And so in the book, you got to get your copy of the book. Mr. Clear introduces the 2-minute rule where you take a big activity and you condense it into 2 minutes. So for example, I read another book that I'll talk to you about in a couple of weeks. So let's say you're struggling, let me just raise my hand, sometimes to go and exercise. And so a strategy is just get on the treadmill for 1 minute. Just go outside your house and walk to the end of the block. Do that every day, and you'll see that mentally you'll say, oh, I went to the first block, I can make it to the second block. Or I did 1 minute on the treadmill. And now I could do 5 minutes, I can do 30 minutes. My dietitian wants me to do 300 minutes a week. And I used to be able to do that, and I fell off. And I am currently on the journey to consistently exercise because I want to be around for a long time to share these tips and tricks with you all. All right, number 4, let me wrap this up because this is not supposed to be a big full presentation. I just want to share with you some of the things that I got from the book. All right, so habit stacking. Habit stacking is where you try a new habit to an existing one. And what Mr. Clear says, when you pair a new behavior with something that you habitually do, you establish a routine. So, for example, after reading some other books, I'll have to tell you about those in the coming weeks. One of the things I started doing was this morning routine. And this book in particular, which I'll come to you in a few weeks about it, and I'll just give you a little hint. The author introduces this module or this process called the Savers Method. And I actually currently am on day 20 of this Savers Method. And basically, what the author challenges us to do is to try these new habits, right? 1 minute a day. And what I've done is I've merged them into something else that I'm already doing. So, for example, meditating right after I pour my cup of tea in the morning, because I know I'm going to have my cup of tea, right? And so if I get my tea made up, put it on the counter, and then I meditate, I can clear my mind. There's something that's going to be on the other end that I enjoy, which is drinking my hot tea. Okay. So when you link the new habits to established routines, they leverage the power of the existing ones, making it easy to remember and actually do. All right. Last one, the role of environment in shaping habits. You have to realize the significant impact of your environment on habit formation. Mr. Clear, he advises that you design your environment to make good habits more accessible and bad habits difficult. So let me just, I can probably give 500 examples, right? So we know potato chips are not good for us, right? So not buying potato chips when you go to the grocery store for your weekly, monthly trip, right? And then when you get that craving for chips, and I'm gonna tell you about me. I'm like, I am not leaving out this house to go get chips. However, right, I can place an order on Target and they'll send it to me, but Target requires a $35 minimum. And if I don't have anything else to buy, I'm like, yeah, let me just skip the chips, right? But when you alter your surroundings, what you do is supporting your desired habit. So my habit, my goal, my habits that I'm executing, I want to lose weight, right? Not I want to lose weight. I am losing weight because I get on the scale every week and I can see the change in my numbers, but also my scale is showing my water, muscle, fat, right? The different percentages. And so I'm watching those things happen and I'm making my environment where if I want to treat myself to a snack, I got to leave the house to grab it. And so instead, what I have in the house are, almonds, or it's getting warm here in Chicago. So I'm having my dietitian is probably going to say watermelon. I love watermelon. I grew up on watermelon, but I have bananas and and all of that. All right, guys. Well, this has been my book review of The Atomic Habits by James Clear. I have probably 400 books that I could share information with you. Those books are behind me. And so keep tuning in every Tuesday to more book reviews with Dr. Lisa L. Campbell. Bye bye.